Lights low, mics hot. Yeah, let's get into it. It's crime o'clock, yeah, feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Question, whole story change. No fear my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet, but the pages speak. Word
It's time to clock in. Crime O'Clock starts now.
Screenshot save, timelines tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say alleged, I say why. If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Typically unique. It's crime o'clock. Yeah. If you're here, you're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
It's time to clock in. Crime O'Clock starts now.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. Welcome to Typically Unique Crime O'Clock. And before we get started today, I need to say a special hello and welcome to all our new subscribers. We've had a lot in the past 2 weeks, so welcome everybody. I'm glad to see you here. I see Ro. Hello, Mike. How you doing? Sleuther, Christina, Beach Babe. Christina, John. I know John's listening. If I missed anybody, I feel like I'm repeating. Skull, I know you're in here. Hope everybody's having a great day today. I'm hanging in there. I went out for a really nice dinner last night with my parents and my daughter, and everything was great. And I woke up this morning and I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Someone a long time ago in chat told me, don't claim it. Don't claim it. So I'm just trying to ignore it. And we are clocking in anyways. So hope you guys are feeling okay. Today we are going to discuss the latest updates overnight, mostly from some of the sheriff interviews. He did a couple interviews one-on-one with media. I have some observations about I have observations about the progression of the sheriff, so how he's been delivering information. But today I'm listening for facts. So I put on my thumbnail facts and theories. So that's what I want to focus on today. Like, what do we absolutely know? And then what we do is we take what we know and then we try to like start thinking of ideas and throwing some speculation in there, but trying our best to stick to facts and make sense of them. So we're going to look at all of that. There have been a few theories too that I'm really thinking makes sense. They're totally unrelated, so this case could go any way. I do have some oregano oil pills, and they do work, Beach Babe, but I haven't taken any yet. So yeah, maybe I'll go run and grab them. Those are, if you guys don't know about that, those are amazing. They're like natural, no, I'm no doctor over here, so don't take any medical advice from me, but they're just it's an herb, oregano is an herb, but it's an oil and they come in pills and they seem to really help me out a lot. So yeah, thanks for reminding me. The theories, yeah, there's two that I think really, really have some grit to them. So first we're going to get to the updates. And of course, who's been all over. Do I have this as a link or do I have this as it's a link? All right. One day I'm going to do a little video on how I set things up for my shows. I use my some of the way I planned for teaching a little bit. So I have everything right where I want it, but it still takes me a while. Right there. That one. All right. Latest update from Brian Enton. This was about 11, 12 hours ago, I think.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. I really, really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I'm actually outside the Pima County Sheriff's Office right now. Just a little while ago, I wrapped up an interview with the sheriff. Got a lot of new information, some stuff about the cameras at Nancy's house. I knew that there were other Google Nest cameras, and I was wondering if they had the video yet from those, just like they did from the front. If the FBI was able to get it. He says no, that they're waiting on. Also, new information about the DNA testing.
There we go.
There was no match with CODIS. It's interesting that the FBI is telling us that, by the way. What does that actually mean? Could there be something going on behind the scenes? I've got my retired FBI friend who's going to kind of explain all of that. And then,
okay, that will be good because we have heard, was it yesterday, that the DNA, I think it was right when I got off my live. I'm like, I think it came out a few minutes before I ended my live yesterday. And I'm like, oh, that figures. I didn't see it. But supposedly the DNA from Florida that they were testing, and I think it was the glove, correct me if I'm wrong, there were reports out that, no hits in CODIS. Okay. But then it seemed like that I don't know how that finally ended up standing. Is it because then I think they're like, well, we're going to wait for the DNA to come back to Arizona and then the FBI is going to upload it to CODIS. So I don't know. So I think we're still waiting, but he's going to talk to somebody who's going to explain it. So that will be good.
there was some action at Nancy Guthrie's house today that I have video of, some of it a little perplexing. I'll get into all of it in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates. Hey guys, so I'm outside the Pima County Sheriff's Office, and again, I'm going to get to that interview with the sheriff in a second, but I wanted to give you all the latest updates from today. Some are pretty significant. First of all, when it comes to DNA, we learned that they put the DNA from the glove that was located about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house. They put the the DNA into the FBI CODIS database, which is the database where all of the criminals their DNA is entered into it. It's a massive federal database. So the DNA was finally entered in the CODIS database, and it came back without a match,
There you go.
which is obviously
No
not
match.
good news. It's not really what anyone was hoping to hear. And I've also learned that other DNA from this case, from the Nancy Guthrie investigation that was entered into the CODIS database, has come back negative for match. So at this point, no matches in CODIS, although I'm told there's still more DNA that they plan to enter into the database. We've also confirmed that they have started.
Okay. I got distracted for a minute. Sleuther, was that you? Is that you, you guys? I just got a super generous donation from Sleuther. Thank you so much. I'm like so surprised. That's my first one off of YouTube. I appreciate that. Super generous. Let me find my. Oh my goodness. Oh, I appreciate that. She came in with a big one, a big $50 donation, you guys. Oh, so nice. So nice. Okay, so I just got to back that up. You said maybe. Back this up a little bit, because he also talked about the other DNA. And I agree with you guys. Like, I think William said, like, that glove should have never been entered into CODIS. I mean, I got mad at Idaho because they didn't test everything. So I'm not going to get mad in this case for them testing too much, right? So go ahead and test it. But if that glove wasn't a hit, then maybe it's not related, right? Because it's removed from the house. So that glove can be a nothing burger.
No matches in CODIS, although I'm told there's still more DNA that they plan to enter into the database. We've also confirmed that they have started the IgG DNA process.
Oh, here we go. So the other DNA in the house that they have also was a no match in CODIS. I still think the FBI is going to do it themselves. And then they're already going to start the IgG process. So I don't know. We want to find this lady. So I'm just not going to. If it was my mom, I would be like, do everything. Where'd it go? There it is.
Which is the investigative genetic genealogy. And if that sounds familiar, that's because that is one of the big things that cracked the Bryan Kohberger case in Idaho, the IgG. And that is essentially when they take the DNA that they have and they put it into these genetic genealogy databases, which is, and if you look back, I've done a couple of episodes on this. This is like when you do those tests at home to get your genealogy and find out who your relatives are and what your background is. They have access to some of those databases, and then they can try to figure out if they can find a match that way. It could be someone's second or third cousin or an aunt or uncle, and then they can try to back into who the suspect is that way. So we suspected they were going to use that technology, and now we've confirmed that they are officially trying the IgG method. Although that takes more time. That could take weeks, that could take months. It's not like just traditional DNA comparisons. So we may not have an update on that front anytime soon. I was outside Nancy Guthrie's house for most of the day. There were a couple of interesting things that happened. First of all, there was a pickup truck and a Subaru that showed up, and the sheriff actually let them through onto the driveway. I saw at least one man. There were two men, but I saw one man get out. He had almost like a briefcase, went around the back of the house. They went inside the house, which is the first time I've seen anyone non-law enforcement.
All right, we're going to watch live footage of this part from JLR. If you just saw this confused look on my face, Ro, thank you so much. I just saw, thank goodness, I watched the chat in StreamYard, I watched the chat in YouTube, and I watched the chat on my phone on the live chat in YouTube, and I only saw it on my phone, and it's not letting me like pin it up here on my screen. I don't know what's going on, but that was does it tell me if it's a super sticker or a super chat? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ro. All right. So again, Brian's talking about these two guys. Well, I think two guys went into Nancy Guthrie's house yesterday and they went in with a briefcase. That's why I had the briefcase on my thumbnail. And nobody that I've heard yet knows what they were going in after, what they took out, but there was a hot mic and they caught somebody saying, "We got it. We got it." So lots of speculation about what it is. But I'm going to show the live footage that JLR covered during this whole time. So that's coming. Chat has been whack for the couple weeks now. Okay. Yeah. Were you guys on live last night and like you couldn't get on your homepage? Like I would click the homepage for YouTube and it would say like try again. But then if I went to somebody's channel, I was able to get in. So yeah, something was going on with YouTube. Seeing if there's any comments in here. I love that they don't miss a chance to remind everyone that BK is guilty, right? Hi, Chillin. How are you today? Meg. Hello, Meg.
Go in the house that I can remember. I don't know who they were. Some people were speculating that maybe it was a locksmith. I don't know if it was someone that the family sent over to get something from inside, but they were inside for, several minutes. And again, law enforcement let them in and then they left. So that don't really have much of an explanation for that, but it was kind of interesting. There was also some detectives at Nancy Guthrie's neighbor's house, and they were inspecting what appeared to be like a ring camera there with some floodlights. And the sheriff's office later confirmed that there were detectives in the area, but didn't say exactly what they were doing. I want to play for you my interview with Chris Nanos, the Pima County Sheriff. I was able to meet up with him today in his office. He did a lot of media interviews. We were only given 10 minutes. So, I was only able to ask so many questions. So if you're wondering why I didn't get to more, they basically cut me off at the end. It started off with him telling me, it's kind of awkward for a second. He said, you have questions for me and this was before the camera started rolling. You have questions for me and I have questions for you. And he kind of brought up.
Okay. So here's my thoughts on the sheriff. Okay. And I don't want to be hypercritical because we all have different personalities and characteristics and things like that, the way we act and behave. And, we can get nervous in different situations. So I give him all of that. Like I understand. However, if you are in charge of the most important investigation going on in the country right now, if you can't handle it, like ask for help, right? I don't ever think it's a bad thing to be self-aware and ask for help. So I went back and I watched the first interview that the sheriff gave, and it was kind of a free-for-all. He made the comment that I just like to talk off the cuff. I don't need a script. He was just randomly calling on reporters for questions. He didn't really give a lot of information. He spoke a lot about himself and the work that he was doing and the stress on himself, things like that. Okay. That was the first presser. That was February 3rd. Then he comes back February 5th and it is more organized. So now he has notes in front of him. So I think someone had a conversation with him possibly. He has an assistant off to the side who has a list of names of reporters that they're going to call on. So it'll be less of a chaotic situation with calling on people. The FBI is there and handles all of the ransom note questions. There was one funny moment I showed Carlos last night when they kept getting ransom note questions, and the sheriff kind of like did a little like pout move, like, oh man, because he wasn't answering those questions. It had to be the FBI guy. So here we are today on February 18th. February 17th. So this was yesterday. And the sheriff scheduled one-on-one interviews. So now he's not getting up in front of a crowd. And they did it in 10-minute intervals. So if you were a reporter that got an interview, you got to go in for 10 minutes. And he had an assistant in there that was timing them, like, this is your last question. So this is what Brian is he's gonna explain his experience.
Some of my coverage and some of the people who I've interviewed who have had not such great things to say about him. And he was going to address some of those things at the end of the interview, but then we ran out of time because the person who was in charge, like the media sort of handler, was said, oh no, 10 minutes is up, you're done. So this is really all the time that I had. But I think what was most interesting is what he said. To me, what was most interesting is what he said about the Google Nest cameras, and they're still trying to get more video. So this is my interview with the sheriff. Thank you for doing this, Sheriff. Appreciate it very much. I know that you and the FBI were able to get those surveillance photos off the camera in the front of the house.
Yeah.
Any progress on the other cameras? Can you do the same thing?
Boy, I'm hopeful. Here's what happened there. So we, of course, that camera we don't have, right? It was taken, removed from the scene, but we knew it existed, and we asked, I think it's Google, hey, what can you do with this? And we gave them the other cameras and asked the same. And they said, well, there's not a subscription here. And it is hard because it overwrites itself, right? I don't know how many hours, maybe it's every 36 or 72, whatever it is. But you know what, Sheriff, we'll try. Thank you. Away they went. They came back with this. And I'm going to try to explain this as a simple man that I am would. They explained it, it's like peeling paint. You have images over images over images, and you want to get to that 8th layer or the 6th layer, and you got to peel back very easily because you might destroy the layer you wanted. So they were able to do that. I said, oh, this is really, that piece of evidence. Oh, they kept it 10 days. No, we all sat here right in our command post with the FBI and went, this is really great stuff. We need this out there. So I don't know that it was here more than 2 hours, and it's only because we had to do some cutting of the way they sent it to us and prepare it to get out to the media, and had to check with Washington, all those things that the FBI had to do as well. And we got it out probably less than 2 hours. And it generated, in that first hour for us, just alone here at the department, almost 5,000 tips. So it's a great piece of evidence. So there's other cameras.
Okay. So I looked up the Google Nest cameras to see if you needed to pay for the subscription. What would it do if you don't have the subscription? And it was different than I thought. So and I watched people that either do reviews on the cameras or they have the cameras and they're recommending them, things like that. But these people actually owned the cameras and were giving their opinion if they thought you needed the subscription or not. So they said, if you don't have the subscription, it will hold videos, it'll hold like a 3-hour window of videos. But as soon as you hit that 3 hour, then it's going to start overriding. Okay. So something like that. So that's not a very long time. Okay. So there's that part of it. And then the other thing it will do is it'll take still shots every so many, and a lot of times you can control the settings on those, like how often do you want it to take a screenshot. And I don't think they said how long those would stay, but those are so unreliable because if the camera's triggered, the screenshot won't go off right away, so you might miss the person, whatever. So what he's saying, I guess, have to assume he's explaining it the right way. I never thought of it like that the videos would be stacked on top of each other. What do you guys think about that? Like he's making it seem like, you know, Wednesday at 12 o'clock would be underneath Wednesday at 1 o'clock and underneath Wednesday at, I don't know. I guess that's the way he's explaining. Like you got to peel back layers, but another thing, so think of Idaho when they were when people are asking for FOIA requests and they're charging for how long it would take to edit a video to get it ready. He said, "We got the video, we edited it, did everything we needed to do to it to get it ready for the public in 2 hours." So take notes, everybody out there that's requesting FOIAs. There's some data for you. I want to say hello to people coming in. Jessie Lynn, hello. Krista, are you getting ready, Krista? And what did you say? And again, we're going to say stupid StreamYard. My comments are not updating on StreamYard. So luckily I can see on my phone, but I can't pin them on my phone. Krista said he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's a bunch of files. Yeah. But I mean, you would think the Nest camera company knows what they're doing, right? His wording is just covering the department. Yeah. I really think that, we know that the FBI can definitely go to cell phone companies and have like a backdoor way to get things that the general public and local police departments have no access to. So I would think the FBI probably has that with everything. So videos, personal home camera devices, probably the same way. So maybe the FBI did something behind the scenes with that. Doesn't surprise me. Either way, they got it. Either way. And the other thing that I wasn't sure about, he said that they don't have the actual doorbell camera. So the kidnapper took the doorbell camera. That was new to me.
Your question, will we get more? We've asked the Google, hey guys, can you do this? And they said the very same thing. Sheriff, we don't think we can get anything, but we'll try. And that's all we're hopeful.
And so as of now, it's still just the video from the front.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry if I
Savannah
misunderstood you,
Guthrie,
Krista.
Nancy's daughter, obviously very famous, loved around the country. Is this really random, or do you think someone may have had a grievance against Savannah? Have you been able to sort that out at all?
Well, yeah. Anything's possible, right? I mean, there was talk, well, this was a burglary gone bad. This was that. Those things have never come out of this office because we recognize that anything is possible, and we'll allow that evidence to show us what it is. The time to ask that question, motive, is when we actually know who's done this. And so, yeah, I get the speculation, but yeah, for me, I just looked at it and said from day one that Nancy was removed from her home against her will. We need to find her.
I know your deputies, detectives are working around the clock. I mean, we see them, how long can this?
All right. What do you guys think? Do you think this was random? Like we have that footage that appears like people were, how do I want to say it? Scanning the neighborhood? Like they were going to different houses, looking in houses, checking things out? Do you think it was random? Do you think it was planned for some kind of, revenge or a money grab or things like that? Retribution, extortion, planned. So let me know with that poll. Hey, Senor Wazowski. Hello. Taking this long makes me think that Google is playing hardball with the information and making me they could be making them get warrants for the footage that are very specific and not just blanket warrants, hopefully, right? That's what they're supposed to do. Not sure what the FBI needs to do, like what their protocols are. And we have some creators in here. Last 24 on the mic. Reality with Krista Marie. If you guys like reality shows and analyzing them and breaking it down, she's the show to go to. And Senor Wazowski. I wanted to ask you, Senor, what you thought about the gun that was in the video footage in the holster. What did you think about that whole situation, or what that looks like to you? I've heard so many different things about that. If anyone wants to drop their links in the chat, please go to those channels and support them. Watch their videos. They're amazing.
Go on for in terms of the investigation at this level?
Because of the media, really, and that's a good thing, right? Because of the media, we've generated so many leads. I know last Wednesday we had 18,000 leads. The FBI had 14. So you're talking over 30,000. We're probably closer to 40 or 50,000. As long as those leads keep coming, we'll keep at it.
I know you've said you can't, for the investigative reasons, talk about what you found in the house. But is there a lot in the house that you're not able to say? I mean, is there a lot of evidence we don't know about in terms of this being a crime?
No, again, you're asking me something that I can't talk about. I will tell you this. We removed some biological evidence, prints, DNA, whatever. All of that was removed and sent to the lab. We removed physical evidence, computers, phones, everything, anything we could. And that's submitted to another lab. That was given to the FBI. And why do we give it to the FBI? Because we know that they're very good at some of that stuff. And so we share with them that. Why do
You're asking me, Meg? What do you think? Do you think it was random? Like, oh, we're gonna go rob a house, or we're gonna go take an old lady and try to get some money out of it. Let's search these houses because everybody that lives here is rich, and we found a vulnerable old woman, so we're gonna go. She's our target. Or like this is like there's a ringleader somewhere and they have like a specific purpose, so it was planned out and targeted. Did I word it wrong? I'm telling you, like I hope I'm not getting Dago's stuffed head congested through the internet. How do you get that through the internet? Okay, Senor, you're not sure. Mismatch holster. So I asked Senor his thoughts on the holster and what was in it. You make sure that the holster is made to fit. There's a clip we're going to watch later that talks about like the behaviors of these kidnappers. Like, I think there's a lot of evidence that they weren't very professional. What they brought, how they took care of their equipment that they had with them. And, some fumbling stuff that we caught on camera, things like that. Shits and giggles. Hello. Oh, thank you for your support. Appreciate you. Yeah. Welcome in. Hang out here as long as you want. Everybody say hi. Not both.
we give ours to our lab? Because it's what we've done for years, and our lab's always done well. In fact, We've used the FBI before. They're very good at solving things and doing things. But the FBI, not unlike our Department of Public Safety in Phoenix, they have a lab. They could have been used. But we look at it as this. If I use, for example, a state lab, DPS, or the federal lab, Quantico, you have to understand they have others using those labs too. And so it really puts a lot of strain on them to prioritize those cases and do what they can with them, where if I have my own lab or a contract lab, it allows me easier access to those cases that I think are important to us. And I'm not talking this case, I'm just talking cases in general. We could build a lab, but that's pretty expensive too. We just found that this lab we use is very good.
Why is he talking about building a lab? Why is he talking about building the lab? Okay, so he's saving the FBI time and manpower and money because the FBI is so overworked that, you know, he just did what and I think it's true. He's just doing what they always do. But now the latest information that came out, and I'm not sure. I mean, you know, you got to listen to them when they come out and say it, but this sounds weird to me because I don't think this happened in Idaho. Let me know if you think this happened in Idaho. They were saying that this sheriff sent the DNA to the lab in Florida, right? And they did all their work. And then they're saying, well, we can't. The FBI is saying we can't do that. So then I don't know. Then I'm like, how did they put it into CODIS and say we didn't get a hit from CODIS when the FBI is saying we need you to send that DNA back to Arizona. Arizona has to do the work and then the FBI will accept it. And I looked this up. I looked up this lab. What is it? DNA Labs International, right? They're in Florida, woman-owned company. They are accredited, and they're not like they're accredited, and they are accredited to the point that the FBI accepts their work. So I'm confused about that. And I think, and I even screenshot their, I have to send it to myself, their statement about that. So I'll let you see it for yourself. Let me find it and I'll let this play.
In Florida at the time, I have no idea. But I know that in today's world of technology, reports are generated and sent out in the flash of an eye. What we need to know is when we send something to a lab, can we get it back to us quickly? Can we have a rush order, if you will? Well, sometimes I want this now, but the FBI may say, well, we understand that, but New York has a crime, LA has a crime. You know, so it's not against the labs. And so when this piece of evidence, we did what we normally do. We sent it to the lab and we did that scene. Then we went and did another scene when we did a search warrant out in Rio Rico. So all of that was gone. Now we find a glove. The FBI says, oh, we can send it to Quantico. And I said, well, you know what? Let's keep it all in one place. Let's just send it all to our lab. No, it's not like no FBI's got a bad lab or no, the sheriff's department uses DNL, they're a bad lab. No, it is about keeping your evidence together in one spot. And when that report comes out, it goes to both agencies. It just made sense.
I don't think that's a bad point. I mean, keeping the evidence together. I mean, I think that keeps consistency, right? I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't know, shits and giggles. That's like a lot of people. He keeps saying no. The sheriff denies it. No. But a lot of people are speculating.
In fact, all of this conversation I had with you, when they said, oh, the sheriff blocked evidence, this conversation I had with the FBI lasted probably a minute and a half, and they said, make censure, and it was done. There's no blocking evidence or just crazy.
Let me ask you. Okay, we've seen the
She said last
the
question.
photos from the surveillance camera in the front of the man. Do you think there could be a second suspect?
You saw what I saw. We know he's. We know
You're
he
good, Meg.
is a
Be
bad
careful.
dude.
Focus on
He's
the road.
what we want. Is there somebody else working with him? I don't know that. We'll know it when we find him.
The TMZ letters, I've lost count of how many they've received. TMZ, they've been receiving these letters claiming.
So he said, we'll know the motive when we find the person, which, I mean, duh, for sure. I also think that when you're looking at people of interest, you probably start seeing different motives. Right? Wouldn't you be thinking, well, why would if this is a person of interest, what would their possible motive be? So yeah, you wouldn't know it for sure until after you have them arrested, but I think you start getting those ideas. Carlos just popped his head in and said hello. All right. Oh, let me let this finish before I show you that. Oh no, we still got a ways to go. All right, let me show you what it said about the DNA Labs International. And I think I can do it real quick. Hold on one second. I got to get into my folder. Welcome in everybody that's just joining us. Okay, we're going to share this tab instead. There we go. Oh, that's not big enough. There, I can make it bigger. Whoa. Okay. As I read down. So it says, yes, DNA Labs International is a fully accredited forensic DNA laboratory holding certifications to ANAB ISO/IEC, a bunch of numbers, standards. So they meet these standards. Okay. Oh, let me make it bigger. Here's the big one. And the FBI quality assurance standards. They are a recognized provider for forensic testing, specializing in forensic biology DNA, including SNP testing, NGS STR mix, and forensic genetic genealogy. All right. And then they are accredited by ANAB, National Accreditation Board. All right, there we go. Some information for you.
From someone involved.
So yeah, the ransoms type things or those kinds of.
And I know FBI is investigating that part, right?
Correct.
But do you think they're legit? Because it seems like every day they're on TV with a new letter.
Again, you want to go to your experts, right? It would be irresponsible for me to give my opinion on something that we've given to the FBI to look into. That's their bailiwick. We'll let them handle that.
And the search warrants, we saw the one in Rio Rico, and then we saw the one close to, I think, 2 miles from Nancy's house on Friday night. Does that mean that you all believe the suspect could be close? Because it seems like the action we're seeing so far is right in the Tucson area.
So how those develop is this, and you may see it today. It may not be anything today. You may see 5 of them today. But what happens is this. We have 400 investigators out there from all agencies, not just in this valley, the 10 different law enforcement agencies, but some from Phoenix and FBI from across the country. And they're out there shaking down leads, 40-some thousand leads. Every morning they get up and they're working 24/7. So they start with a little lead and they're told, go check on this. And that.
Okay. I believe he said 400 investigators, law enforcement working on this case. He did say some from Phoenix. And I know that the FBI headquarters for Arizona is in Phoenix. So I think those are the people he's referring to.
It's interesting that the FBI is telling us that, by the way. What does that actually mean? Could there be something going on behind the scenes?
How did I lose my spot? Oh my gosh. We'll fast forward a little bit.
In the flash of an eye.
It was the last question.
But what happens is this. We have 400 investigators out there from all agencies, not just in this valley, the 10 different law enforcement agencies, but some from Phoenix.
More than
and
the last
FBI
question,
from
right?
across the country.
Brian
And
said,
they're out
I'm
there
going to ask
taking down
questions
leads.
till you kick me
40
out.
some thousand leads. Every morning they get up and they're working 24/7. So they start with a little lead and they're told, go check on this. And that lead develops. And as they move through it, it grows and grows like a snowball, just getting bigger and bigger to a point where they go, you know what? I think we've developed a person of interest. I think we've got something here that maybe we need to go back and brief on. So they come back in and they talk to the command post who's there. U.S. attorney, county attorneys, different law people behind different areas of law who sit back and discuss it and say, you know what, maybe there's enough here for a search warrant. Maybe we got to get petition for physical characteristics. Maybe that characteristic is a photo. Maybe it's buckle sales. Maybe it's fingerprint, whatever it is. And
Hi,
we
Harry.
present it to a judge. And a judge says, yeah, I think there's enough. He signs it. That's how that snowballs. And everybody's energetic and they're so, I wish you could see the face of the young men and women out there who are working these and all the energy, because it's what happens in investigations, particularly bigger investigations, where they're so excited, probably like you are. We've got a good thing, we're going to, and then it falls through. It's not the person. Nancy's not at that house. But that's part of the.
So one thing that a lot of experts have been saying is that, Brian Enton made a big deal about the sheriff's written statement that he put out. He put out a statement that the family is cleared. Then he came out with a statement kind of admonishing everyone to like be kind to the family, their victims. And then he put out another statement like at this time, and Brian Enton was really focused on that line in his statement, like the family is cleared at this time. So kind of giving that little bit of opening, but also when you're cleared, just like the Range Rover person and the house that they went into Friday, they were detained and released, but that doesn't mean they're probably completely off the table, right? They can always circle back, or maybe they're still onto them. They just don't have enough evidence yet. So we're going to look into all of these theories more closely when this video is over.
Ebbs and flows of an investigation. You're going to have those highs and lows. So for me, that's why it's important that I dispel some of the things that are out there, so my team knows that no. They're a solid team. This is a team who solves crime every day. They are my experts. I would be silly to not listen to them. When they tell me we spent 20 some hours at this scene, we processed this scene, I'm taking their word that they're good. I don't need to hear from some pundit out there who's never done a crime scene. I don't need to hear from somebody who's never done a criminal investigation. I've got experts. That's who I choose to listen to. Just like the noise in the background, the critics who want to run for office. Go ahead, go do that stuff. I just want to find Nancy. I want my team focused every morning. When they hit that low, that they know that they have someone who believes in them and their work. They're going to do it. I have 100% faith they will solve this case. If you're the guy, if you're that monster, you should be worried. You should let her go. Just let her go.
Are you getting closer?
I think we are. But I have to have that belief, right? I have to have that faith.
He says, I think a lot, which again could be a character trait, but I've heard other former FBI agents and people like that comment on the indecisiveness in some of his statements. So I think it would be more comforting when we're wanting Nancy to be found, to have a leader that is definitive, right? We're going to watch a clip later of some former detectives saying, one of them makes a comment like, if they would have detained the guy with the Range Rover and they were really like suspecting him, even if they didn't have enough evidence at the time and they have to let him go, they would be like, we're coming for you, like, you don't just let them go and don't think about them again or back down from them. You're confident and you're like, hey, we might not have all the evidence right now, but we're getting it. One of the things I made note of when listening to the sheriff and what evidence they have, he mentioned all the biological evidence they took out of the house. They took like the DNA, the fingerprints, and then he started talking about electronic, right? And we haven't heard anything about that. Nothing about cell phones, really. Nobody pinging in the area. They haven't hinted that that's how they've found anybody. They said everything was tips. So maybe the perp didn't have their phone on them for their phone to be tracked during that time, because that's something, not only am I paying attention to what are they saying, but I'm trying to pay attention to what are we not hearing about, right?
Every day, we'll keep at it. We ain't quitting.
Appreciate the sheriff for making the time to talk with me. Again, I know he's done a lot of media interviews, and I was glad that I was able to get one of them today, and that was on News Nation, of course. And hopefully I'll get more opportunities to talk to him in the future, because like I told him, there were some things that he didn't like about some of my reporting.
William.
And, I always want to get both sides. So I'm happy to have him respond to what some people are saying about, being critical of his sort of the way he's been handling the case. And, I always like to get both sides. So hopefully I'll get more opportunities to interview him. I want to go back to what I was telling you guys about the DNA and the fact that the FBI says that there were no links in CODIS. What I found particularly interesting about that is that the FBI told us that. I mean, why would they give us a small update like that? Why would they need to tell the public and the media that there were no specific links in CODIS? I went to my friend, retired FBI agent Steve Moore, to talk to him about that and some of the other updates that came today in the case. I'm joined now by Steve Moore, retired FBI agent. It's nice to see you, Steve. It's always good to chat with you. First of all, I wanted to ask you, the sheriff is now saying that they put the DNA from the gloves that were found about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house into the CODIS system finally, and that there was no match, and that all of the DNA they put in so far, apparently there have been no matches. What do you make of that? Does that surprise you? I mean, because
why do you guys think the FBI would be willing to come out and say the DNA went into CODIS and there was no match? Is it because that's like a simple piece of information that, hey, maybe the glove, is unrelated, so we can come out. We're going to come out and tell you about that. Is it just that simple? Or do you think there's another reason? Sorry, William. I thought he had some good information, though, to talk about.
It seems like bad news.
Well, it doesn't, excuse me, it doesn't surprise me. It disappoints me a little bit, but
this one is pretty
CODIS, is kind of a new thing, relatively. I mean, it's not like fingerprints that have been around for, over 100 years. So what the problem is that every state, like when you get arrested, when a person gets arrested, you've seen it. It's standard. They fingerprint, they send it off. Everybody's got fingerprints in there. You get it for passports. Everybody's got fingerprints on file. Hardly anybody's got DNA on file. And right now, every arrestee in every 50 states, or every one of the 50 states, do not immediately get put in CODIS. And so, there are crimes in all of the 50 states for which you will get your DNA popped in the CODIS 100. Database, but only on conviction for some of them. Although Arizona, as soon as you're arrested for a felony, It's my understanding that they will get a DNA swab with your fingerprinting and send it to CODIS.
So these would just be people who have been arrested who are in this database.
I mean, isn't this basic information? Like, isn't that in every state? Like, if you're arrested, does it have to be a felony to get swabbed for DNA? It's a good question.
About the DNA
Oh
testing.
my gosh, why does this keep going
The sheriff's
backwards? Sorry. I'll fast forward.
Understanding that they will get a DNA swab with your fingerprinting and send it to CODIS.
There we go.
So these would just be people who have been arrested who are in this database.
Predominantly. I mean,
Hi, Italian girl.
DNA is not something that they use for any other purpose. You know, like fingerprints they use to identify you for passports or things like that, or even sometimes just a document and getting it certified. So DNA is only a criminal database at this point.
So you remember, Steve, that yesterday the sheriff put out this statement, vehemently denying that the Guthries had anything to do with, they were cleared. He used the word cleared, the siblings and their spouses. So they put out another statement today where they talked about this CODIS development, but then they also included a section about the Guthrie family. And they said, in criminal investigations, evidence is examined to either build a case or clear individuals.
That's true, Witchy. You'd probably have to be convicted, right? Because if you're found innocent, then that would be like a violation, right? So probably convicted. Yes. Thank you for that. Uh-oh. Strong reaction to what he just said.
At this point in the investigation, the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, has not been identified as suspects. What I thought was interesting is they're saying at this point in the investigation, where yesterday they were just more vague. What do you make in general of the sheriff, clearly saying that they've been cleared? Is that unusual?
Yeah, it's very unusual, and probably had to do a lot with social media, where people are actually going out there and naming names and doing stuff like that. What's interesting to me is he said they were cleared, and then they had to walk that back a little bit and say they're not suspects at this time.
Yeah, we talked about that. When
you say somebody is cleared, first of all, you have to know a lot about the crime. It's kind of like, say if you had a crime and you didn't know the actual time of the crime, then anybody's alibi is useless to you. So you can't say, they're cleared by their alibi. In the same way with this case, even though we know time, we don't know a lot more case, at least the public doesn't. So I couldn't understand how they had enough information to clear them. Now, if you tell me that right now they're not suspects, that I can understand. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean technically that they couldn't be down the road. I think what the sheriff is saying is that he doesn't believe they had anything to do with this. And that's as close as he can come to clearing them functionally.
And I want to go back. There's something else I thought of with CODIS that I wanted to ask you about that I was thinking of you earlier. Is it unusual that the FBI is giving these updates saying, oh, we tested it and it's not in CODIS? Like would they normally be giving us such a specific update? And then the thing it made me think of is, could it mean that they are closing in on someone and they don't want that person to realize that?
Yeah, that's a very, very good possibility. And yes, it is highly unusual. Those are the kind of, that's the kind of information that you, instead of sending to the public, you post up to your supervisor and say, giving him updates on the case daily. For the FBI to be doing this is extraordinary, in my opinion. And two potential reasons for this is, one, as we've discussed before, the sheriff has a bigger dog in this fight than the FBI does. This is his community. He has to live here. He has to get reelected here. And so he may have negotiated some kind of agreement where the FBI or he could provide more information. But on the other hand, society has changed since I joined the FBI and since I retired. Things are rapidly moving into the point where everybody has, as I said on one of the other broadcasts, their own home version of the game, and they are all playing and they are all talking to each other about it. And the world now, in absence of information, will create reality. And so I think what the FBI is trying to do is keep the dust down a little bit on that. And I think what you're hearing, go back in 10 years.
Okay, this guy's blabbering on. So I'm going to stop there with that. Hello, everybody coming in and joining us. So we were just getting the updates from Brian Enton talking to the sheriff. And I want to show you the other thing that happened yesterday at Nancy's house. So a couple guys went into the house with a briefcase. We don't know what they went in for, but someone had a hot mic and they heard them say, "I got it." And so I want to show this clip of that. But I saw something in the footage while I was watching this. So let me see. Yep. If you notice it too, I'll stop when I see it. So this is JLR at the scene, of course. I don't want his chat. YouTube's being a little weird. I'm going to get this off here as soon as I can. There we go. All right. All right, I might have to speed this along a little bit because they're going to move some vehicles. I swore I had the right time. 5:21. 5:21.
Salió el update
Coming up.
estaba al aire.
¿En serio?
Ya me tocó decirlo, pero así de tarde.
All right, nothing's happening. Maybe I need to. I'll find it. Hold on. It's when JLR walks to the back. He walks to the back, like the side where the garage is. Nope. All right. What did I put? 4:50. So let me check my timestamps. I wrote timestamps down. Okay, so this white truck with the back doors pulls up, 2 sheriff cars, another car pulls off to the left.
Wait and see what this is about.
That's great. I mean,
Okay, and then scrub. Come on, YouTube, scrub with me. Scrub with me. I will find it. Be patient. I just don't want to. I don't want us to sit here and watch nothing. So the one car pulled in the back towards the garage, and this sheriff car pulled up and blocked it so no one could see what was going on. This lady, I think she's an FBI agent or something. 2 guys went into the house with a briefcase.
And just 3 days ago, they're telling no one to let everyone off stand here.
I'm looking for it. I don't know how the timestamps change. Did he clip this and change the times? It was before it was raining. It was not raining.
All the other mainstream media inside that home with some guy in there. Never what it can be.
And there's a guy in there. What do you think they would be going in the house with a briefcase for? Someone earlier said maybe to get into a safe. Do you think they were getting into a safe? A private investigator? I've been thinking about that. Like if I was the family and I had, $40 million or however much money she has, I would hire a private investigator for sure.
Dun, 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 dun. We're all waiting. Dun, 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 dun,
Sorry.
dun, dun, dun. All the other mainstream media journalists took.
Maybe it's that. I swear it wasn't raining than the part that I saw. Oh, this is what I wanted though. Let me see. Because he's going to walk to the side of the house. I thought I saw sliding
There's
doors.
agents apparently on the neighbor's home right now. Swabbing cameras, I'm told.
Now he's going to the neighbor's house?
Hope I don't like going down here. So if this bee goes away, I'll come back up.
Yeah, this is way not what I wanted to show. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what's going on. He walked to the back of her house by the garage, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's sliding doors. Oh, hey, here. So he's trying to get around.
Let's see.
All right, he zooms in. There's one of the FBI officers. They're waiting back there. And then he's going to get some footage, and I was like, is that sliding doors? Like, do you think they would have gone through sliding doors? William, do you think the grass was white just because of the night vision? I'm sure that's why. It's not white grass. So this is at Nancy Guthrie.
So this is 2 vehicles here, 2 sheriffs and 2 vehicles are here. 2 separate people. Who the heck is this guy? Now he's going out back. Now he stepped to the side.
Right there. Right there. Is that sliding doors? What do you guys think? It looked like it went to the bottom of the ground. Let me see if that shows it. Ready?
So this is 2 vehicles here, 2 sheriffs and 2 vehicles are here. 2 separate people. Who the heck is this guy? Now he's going out back. Now he stepped to the side.
Right there. Okay. So there looks like there's a step up, but I don't think that's a window. I think that's sliding glass doors. And I think that's important because I haven't seen that before. And we don't know how the kidnappers got into the house. Sliding windows, maybe. They're large enough to get into whatever they're sliding. And I've always heard that sliding doors are easy to break into if someone wants to get into a house. If you don't have like a special bar behind the door to slide it open. You think this is on the guest house? Let's see. Let me see if we can see more. I thought it was by the garage. But you might be right. Oh, the pool house? You think that's the pool house? Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right. Well,
All right, sheriff is moving his vehicle. Some people coming. He's coming out.
all right. I couldn't see any better. Look to the left, the trees, right? So there's like, yeah, it's like that pool house. Okay. The guest house. There's another set of sliding doors. I did have an aerial view of the house from like, Google Maps, Google Earth, and I just couldn't get like the right angle to see the flat side of the back of the house. It did look like in the middle of the back of the house that there was like a little awning area. It was a roof, but more like an awning where there would be a porch under it. So I bet there would be sliding glass doors there. That would make sense to me. If the door slides on the inside, it's probably impossible. If it slides on the outside, you could probably just lift the door up and take it off the tracks. Yes. And we've talked a lot before on this show about how it's important to make sure that you're a lot of times the locks on your sliding glass door will be put on upside down. And if they're on upside down, you can just lift that door right up. Have you ever had a sliding door like that? Like if you pull on it, it just kind of like jerks up. That's probably because your lock's on wrong. Public safety announcement. The house is on Zillow. I did look that up. You couldn't see photos inside the house because her family, Nancy, has owned this house since 1975. So it's never like been on the market or anything like that. So there's no updated photos inside on a for sale realtor site, but they do have like the floor plans and just like a general description, like, this many bathrooms, this many bedrooms, things like that. Yeah, firsthand experience, Mike. I've got one of those like heavy duty lock bars behind my sliding glass doors. That's right. I put a bar behind it. Yep. They sell really good ones. For sure. Okay, so let's do this. Let's start talking about some of the theories of potential suspects. Okay. So I'm going to do a little pause to do something a little lighthearted. So we're not making fun of the case or anything or the victims, just the situation itself, like how long this is taking, people getting frustrated, things like that. So, and then we'll get into the suspects.
Okay, look, over here. That's live in front of Nancy's house right now. No, but here's the difference today. Okay, you want to hear the difference?
No, I don't.
See where the sheriff's parked? He's been parked on the street 24/7. Today, he's parked on the property.
What's this lady's name?
Nancy Guthrie. But listen.
Look, are you in a group chat?
This is a group, like the live chat or whatever on YouTube. But these people have been watching this same live with me for 10 days, right? From this JLR investigates guy. He's live all day, all night on this case out front, either Nancy's house, Andy's house, or.
This is a woman talking to her husband. I just think this is so funny because let me know in the chat how many of you can relate to this, that you have a significant other that you talk to about this.
Who's Annie?
Sister.
He said, who's Annie?
Listen.
This is so funny. I'm sorry. I have to play this.
Okay, you want to hear the difference?
No, I don't.
See where the sheriff's parked? He's been parked on the street 24/7. Today, he's parked on the property.
What's this lady's name?
Nancy Guthrie. But listen.
Are you in a group chat?
This is a group, like the live chat or whatever on YouTube. But these people have been watching the same live with me for 10 days, right? From this JLR investigates guy. He's live all day, all night on this case. Out front, either Nancy's house, Annie's house, or at the
Who's Annie?
sister.
Oh, hell no.
No, but listen.
Dude,
So
this
everyone,
is terrible. You know what?
No, listen,
You got.
No, I have better.
No.
Everyone in this chat.
Anybody
has
else's
become
wife
friends.
doing this?
They've all become friends.
Oh,
right?
hell. You got friends online?
No,
in the group
I joined a
chat?
group on Facebook, like finding Nancy Guthrie.
Oh my God.
And
You've changed since I met you.
Everyone in the group in Facebook is in this chat on this live, and we go back and forth talking about it. And you know what?
He's genuinely
Everyone in the group,
concerned.
I'm pretty sure is probably the youngest in their 60s, but I enjoy it. I'm with my people. Well, we're gonna find Nancy.
How long has she been missing?
10 days.
I know. You know what? I don't care. Like, what? Why do you pull me into this stuff?
It'll be 2 weeks on Saturday.
And what are your Detective Heather thoughts?
Man, I'm at a loss.
What do your friends think online?
They all think it was either the son-in-law or the son-in-law's bandmate. I can't say his name because his initials.
Oh, I bet it was the drummer, right?
It's D-E. It is the.
It is the drummer.
Anybody else's spouse
I don't know
doing
why
this?
they think it's them.
This is day in and day out. Free Nancy. Is that her name, Nancy?
Yes.
Okay, free Nancy. Lord help us. Come on, somebody bring her home. I can't deal with this.
All right. So just everybody's going through this, right? You know, talking to everybody, building communities, talking about the case. And that husband, when he said, "You've changed since I've met you," that was so funny. Okay. I have this set up how I want to do this. All right. Share some information, and you guys join in the chat and add to what I am sharing, if you would. I'm glad someone else enjoyed it. I'm glad someone else I got to know. All right. Okay. Suspects that people are talking about online. Okay. Number one is the guy who was driving the Range Rover, right? Luke. Okay. And I decided I'm just going to use like first names and try not to put people on blast because if they're truly innocent, then I don't want to put anything out there about people. The son-in-law, Tommaso. And there is a person named Jason who keeps driving like 15 minutes away from his house to come talk to the media. So someone who's kind of like inserting themselves. And then I had a last addition. Last night, early this morning, I was listening to actually the Interview Room. I know people have opinions about that too, but they really had, I thought, some good thoughts about the guy who was arrested for making the fake text messages. And they had some information that either I didn't hear or I didn't think about it that way before. So I'm going to look at all of those. Okay. All right. Let me see if this works. I tried this out earlier. Let me see. I got to do this. So I'm going to share a piece of paper and on my I'm going to use my document camera. If it works and you guys can see it, I'm going to ask you to please put yes in the chat. because I can't see my StreamYard screen. My projector takes up my whole computer screen. So, but I can see it on I can see chat on my phone. All right, here I go. I'm going to try it. This is my initial. Let's say I got to do entire screen. Share, and then, yeah, right there. Okay. Yes, in the chat, if you can see the whiteboard. Is it showing up? Oh, I can see it on my phone. Why am I asking you? I can see it. Yay, it worked. It worked. Thank you, Shits and Giggles. I love your name. Okay. So I'm going to start with what I think is the biggest online discussion right now for suspects. Okay. And it started with, and forgive me. Oh my goodness. I should not have my hand that close. I don't have my nice nails on. I'm sorry about that, you guys. All right. It started with the Range Rover. Right? It's not showing. Oh, there it goes. What I'm watching is behind. Catch up. Okay. So the Range Rover was pulled over on Friday night, the 13th, February 13th, right? February 13th. Okay. The Range Rover was driven by Luke. All right. So apparently, like a tip came in or something that led the police to a house that had a mother and a son. And they also pulled over the Range Rover who had Luke. And I think Luke is a brother and also lives in that same house. But he was pulled over from the Range Rover. All right. So online sleuths go to town like we do. And they found out that the Range Rover went back to a person named Zach. I'm just going to spell it that way from now. Okay. So Zach either owns the car, and I also heard Zach could possibly own a used car lot. Okay. So this is information that people have found evidence of through their research that connected these people to the Range Rover. Okay, so then people dive into Luke. And also, it's important to know that after the police detained Luke and they ultimately let him go, the police said he was our person of interest. He was our person of interest. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. No need for fancy nails. Thanks, Jillian. All right. So Luke has a criminal history, right? And people found police records for him, and he was arrested, of course, in a Walmart parking lot, because Walmart has been mentioned 587 million times in this case. And he was arrested with a woman named Kayla. All of these people, Luke, Zach, Kayla, and then there's going to be another person. I think they're all in their mid 30s. I've heard like 36, 38, 39, something like that, right? Okay, so he's arrested with Kayla. Luke is released, but they keep his car. Okay, so I'll just put that up here. They keep the Range Rover. The Range Rover's in evidence, okay? Kayla is currently in jail. She was arrested the next day after they were detained. And I don't know how much this one is verified, so we'll put a question mark. But I've heard people say that Kayla was out on bond and then skipped a court appearance. And so she got rearrested on the 14th. So now she has no bond. Now she has no bond. I want to give credit here. I listened to Sleuth Intuition. He went over all this last night. So if you want to go back later and listen to him, this part of it is what I got from him. And he was being very careful with making sure he had the arrest document, and he read an affidavit, and making sure that he had receipts for all of this. Okay. This is the one thing with the question mark that I don't know if this got verified, the part about her being out on bond. Okay. All right. So she's in jail. Now, everybody was thinking, because Kayla was with Luke, that they were a couple. But someone found out that Kayla is married to a William. Okay. There's a William. Oh, the most important thing, you guys, some of you already know. What's the most important thing about Kayla? Thank you, Megastar. I appreciate that. Yeah, got to give all these awesome creators out here credit. Kayla, it is speculated, is related to the Guthries. Okay. They still have his car. They still have the Range Rover. They had evidence tape on it. They sealed the car all up and they took it. They took it. And I have a video from a forensic person talking about that. So when I'm done with this part, I will show you that. Okay. All right. Now, why do they think she's related to the Guthries? Savannah has a book that she wrote. In the book, she told a story about when she was little. She had a cousin named Terry. And Terry would play a kidnapping game with them. You know, it ultimately is innocent. It would be the last day that they were visiting. And Terry was older. So like Terry was more of an adult, an older cousin, significantly older than Savannah and her sister. And so on their last day visiting, Terry would wake Savannah and Annie up and, get them in the car. They would drive a ways, and then they would call Savannah's mom and say, I've been kidnapped. And the mom would, act alarmed and say, oh, I'll come get you in a couple days. So I guess that story is in her book. So everybody got the name Terry from that book, being a cousin. Okay. So that's in a book that Savannah wrote, that there is a cousin named Terry. And then supposedly there's connections back to Kayla. Okay. That's where that came from. All right. So William, the husband, has a criminal record. And all of these are related to drugs, pills. And William also, what else did I have about William? Oh, he is known for that. If you can see the screen, smuggling people. So clearly he would know, and this information comes from his records. Okay. His criminal records. And those are all public information, right? You can get those. Okay. Shocker. Right. So you know what this means. This means you probably know how to get into all right. Let me move my camera. You probably know how to get into Mexico. He's also a member of. Now, I did not see how they knew this. Okay. And trust me, I don't think this group of people is all criminals and bad people. I know that. Okay. So I'm not lumping criminal behavior into this group, but any group can have good and bad, right? Okay. Now, here's the important thing. He has a pending trial, I believe. Now, this needs to be looked into more. This needs to be investigated more, because I did see some people were saying he's in jail right now, and some people were saying that there's a trial coming up for him. So, hi, Molly. Good to see you. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. Yeah. Okay. So if there are pending trials, and, we talked about this in the Idaho 4 case, right? People that are involved in these kinds of behaviors and doing this kind of stuff, if they've done it for years and years and years and years, and they keep getting in trouble, the consequences and their sentences get longer and longer and longer, right? So if you're trying to avoid going to trial, and people talked about maybe the kidnapper wanted to get out of the country for some reason, right? Maybe the kidnapper just needs money. Okay. The theory here that I heard about this is that they don't want to get ratted out. Okay. And that means keep your mouth shut, Kayla. If she's in jail right now and she has information, if this is related at all, and she's in jail and she has information, would there be a possible kidnapping of a beloved, high profile relative that could provide money and the threat to keep your mouth shut because we have your loved one do what we're telling you to do? And then these guys just end up being like involved. Don't know about this guy. He just came back to the car. So these are just thoughts and ideas that have been online. Everything is not 100%, ferreted out. Just speculations, but people are trying very hard to work through this and get some evidence for it. All right, let me see. I'm coming back to the chat. Remove this for a minute. Kidnapper was paid by a coyote. Probably knows coyotes. Glad we dropped Molly's link in here. Please go check out her channel. She has made, Molly, do you have your glove videos on there? You guys got to go see the glove videos. Oh my gosh. Because they found like all these gloves in this case. Yeah, kidnapping game. What else would you do in a desert town? Yeah. All right. So that's a big theory right now. I am going to play a clip instead of writing it out right now. And remember the guy, FBI is like, we're not playing around with fake text messages or fake ransom messages. And they said, we have a person arrested in California. Okay. So this clip that we're going to watch right now is about that guy. As soon as I find it. Let me go back. Will you go back to my playlist? Yeah. Nope. Give me a second. Oh, here it is. Okay. I know it's not sharing yet. Okay, again, I know that we have opinions about these people, but just listen to the information because I do think that they make some good points. Okay, so sorry about that. So the second suspect theory online is about the person who made the fake ransom. Okay, that's who they're talking about.
He also called a family member for 9 seconds.
Okay.
And then there's one in the south. Okay. NICRIC is Northern Regional Intelligence Center.
To San Diego and Los Angeles. And so there could be a nexus to people there. There could be, as you just indicated, could be some people from Texas. It really could be anywhere, quite frankly. And but when you take a look at everything that's going on here and everything that we know about Nancy, now I'm not referring to the Bitcoin aspect of this case because I'm not sure that they're related, but with respect to Nancy and the type of crime this is and the unfortunate type of crime it likely is at this point, it's probably going to be local people and in the greater Tucson area is my educated guess, and that's all it is at this point. And I do believe that it is a conspiracy among several people, at least 2 people, And I don't think one person could have pulled this off. And it's not likely that two people pulled this off. I think it's probably anywhere from 2 to 5 people that are involved in this. So there's been no detection of Nancy. There's been no contact. They don't have significant leads. And so I would say that they're hiding in plain sight, if you will, and that it's going to be a conspiracy among several people. That's my educated guess.
Yeah, and this is why the other night, all of us on our panel thought it was a outlier that this guy in LA pops up in the middle of the largest, hunt for Nancy Guthrie in the world. I mean, since the Lindbergh baby is what I, put it to. Okay. And you've got the largest hunt going on, and all of a sudden this guy shows up and he sends a text message to Annie and a text message to Tommaso. And here's the text message. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. One, that's plural. And he's asking.
Okay. I screenshot what they're looking at. So let me pull this up. Oh, where's it at? Here. Okay. I think it's this one. Okay. Sorry, it's not that big. Hopefully you can blow it up on your end. Let me see. Does it let me move it? Okay. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet. That's interesting to know. I didn't know how they actually received it. So they have an online tip portal, which probably keeps it anonymous. I always wondered about that. Like how, like were the news stations, they want to offer that anonymity, right? So that people will call in. So that makes sense. And, why couldn't they just track the person, right? The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. On February 4th, 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family published a video asking Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers to contact them about their mother. And I believe this is like the affidavit. It's a police document for that guy that was arrested in California. So here's counts 1 and 2. On or about February 4th, 2026, shortly after the video was published, Annie Cioni and Tommaso Cioni, that's AC and TC, the daughter and son-in-law of Nancy Guthrie, both separately received a text message from the following phone number. And then they actually have the phone number there stating, "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction." AC and TC received these texts while in Arizona. So someone from California, I believe, well, I don't know where the person was, so don't quote me on that. So Annie and Tommaso get the text message. "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction." What do you guys think about that? Oh, I don't want you guys to hear that. Oops. My ringtone. My phone's ringing, so I'm going to be like Dago over here getting phone calls. Okay, so I'm just going to read this to you because I like how the two guys on here explain this. Okay. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol, so a VoIP text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the 0552 number. Based on the records provided for the 0552 number, was registered to the following email address. And then they got Derek Colella at gmail.com. So that's the guy's name, Derek Colella. The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address. They got his IP address at approximately 6:02 on February 4th, 2026. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that that address was associated with Colella's residence in California. Okay, so that's where this guy, that's what happened with that guy. I'm just looking at your comments. Bacon, eggs, and hash showed up. It's breakfast time. Hello. How are you today? All right. Okay. Did you guys know that this guy that was arrested made a phone call to family members? Like all we heard about was the text. There was a text. So let me try to open this, and I gotta wait here. Let me do this. This will be easier. This is my other tool that I use. I don't need to do that. Just open. Just open. Come on. Open. Give me 1 second. It's coming. It's coming, but we'll be able to see it better. This is my online camera. Oh, bigger. Okay. Yeah, that didn't do much better. But right here, I want to draw. Where's the drawing? Drawing. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. Why would somebody be messaging Annie and Tommaso? Did you get the Bitcoin? What do you guys think about that? This is the fake ransom. But the person who was the fake ransom messaged Tommaso and Annie saying, did you get the, I mean, maybe the guy's just crazy and he's just like, reaching out doing that. Or is it suspicious? Okay, so that's the message. He also made a phone call.
That this gentleman in LA, Los Angeles, just pops up out of the blue. And who does he talk to? Or, excuse me, who does he send text messages to? he sends text messages to the sister, who's not even the spokesperson for the family, and her husband, who's not even on the radar with the family. He's not in any of the press conferences. He's not in any of the notes. He's not sitting there going, you know, I'm part of the family, you know, kumbaya. And the feds mysteriously, creative writing 101, say, well, a family member was called and the call was made or was 9 seconds long. And then they don't talk anymore about the call. They talk about the 2 text messages, and they say the text messages have not been linked to the 2-2 ransom demand. Okay, because those are linked in the letters, the demand letters. Okay, that's where all that is linked. All that is linked in those letters.
That's true, Sleuther. That's
okay?
True.
And so as a result of that, that's creative writing, in my opinion. Because they're not also telling us who that family member was that they called, that this guy called. And next thing you know, I think a logical question has to be asked here.
I'm not sharing these theories to say that this is right or accurate. It is, we know that these messages were sent. We know that the guy is arrested. We know that who they went to, who these messages went to. So this is the information we have, and we're looking for people of interest, right? Tommaso's been a person of interest for a long time. The sheriff came out and said they're cleared, but the sheriff also came back and said they're cleared at this moment or something along those words. Also, the investigators were in Annie and Tommaso's house several times. They were in there at night taking photos. They scoured the neighborhood. They spoke to neighbors. I think they collected video evidence around there. So that was a pretty good investigation of around their house. So yeah, just hypothesizing, right? And these are the different theories that are out here on the internet that people are looking at the information and, why did somebody do this? Who could have done it? Like, sometimes we can poke some holes on here and help a little bit with that, right? So don't take this as this is what Kim thinks happened. No. I'm not sure yet, but I'm looking at everything.
The explanation is this guy does an open source intel search on Annie, and he pulls out of the air Tommaso's phone number and Annie's phone number. Okay, great. It's open source intelligence. I get that. We all get that. But why not just text Annie? She's the family member, the bloodline of Nancy Guthrie. How is this other guy thrown into the mix, her husband, who happens to potentially be the very last guy that dropped her off?
So that right there, you always have to look at a spouse, and you have to look at the last person to see the person alive. And apparently, I think they have flip-flopped on that a lot. If it was Annie and Tommaso together that dropped Nancy off, or if it was just Tommaso, and then they've just been saying family member. So they seem like they're like getting more vague, right? I don't know if that's for a reason or not, right? We're all a bunch of theorists here. Just theorists, not don't put conspiracy in there. We're hypothesizers. Is that a better word? Hypothesizers. No, we're not wearing tinfoil hats. Well, you know, we're hypothesizing. I mean, I just think it's interesting I think these questions make sense, and it's okay to ask these questions. And if it doesn't lead anywhere and we're like, oh no, that doesn't make sense, you know, that's what we do, right? That's what we do. We're discussing and we're looking at things. When I originally heard about the prank ransom guy, it was like, oh, prank ransom guy, nothing to see there. And then when I heard this, I'm like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe there is a little bit more to think about that. So what they were saying right now is, okay, so you got this prank ransom guy, and he just, you know, Googled Annie and Tommaso's phone numbers, got them that way, and then just contacted them. But then he's like, why call Tommaso? Why not just call Annie? That's one point.
All great questions, Chris. I did read that affidavit that you have on his activity and the trying to explain it, but it is vague, and it is. I agree with you. It was very carefully written. So the next question that I have, and I'm sure the FBI knows the answer already, was this gentleman in Tucson on January 31st and February 1st? And if so, where was he? He had a cell phone with him, apparently.
See, that's a good question. Like, did they get this guy? They got this guy because they like found cell phone information, right? So was this fake ransom person in the area at that time? Does he need to be? I don't think he needs to be. I think there's different levels of these people. There's someone who actually went into Nancy's house and took her, probably two people at least. And then some other people that are handling the ransom part. And I really do. I've been thinking about that ransom note a lot. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to be ending here in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. You know, I do think there is validity to the ransom note. Uh-oh. 1 second. I have to see if my plumber is on his way. Let's see. Oh, they're en route. Oh, yeah, because they're supposed to be here in about 30 minutes. Okay. All right. You don't like that kind of stuff either? Like what? Conspiracy? Yeah. I mean, you have to, I agree with the sheriff, like finding out who did it and then why, right?
And so they probably know the answer to that question.
Okay.
And they're not going to tell us right now, and I understand why, but that is a huge part of this case that has really been overlooked, except for here on TIR. So, not
stick to what I know sometimes. I could be wrong. I'll take it. Not a problem. I just find it weird. Okay. Because now we go down here, you know, they talk about how they traced it and everything, the IP address, but then real subtly and just kind of hidden at the back of this affidavit, this FBI agent goes, oh, by the way, data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, he called a family member of Nancy Guthrie, which lasted 9 seconds. Who's that family member?
So who's that family member that got the phone call for 9 seconds? So after Miranda warnings, right? So they read him as Miranda rights. Kalela admitted to sending the 2 text messages. He admitted to using the VoIP account from which 2 actual text messages came from. Kalela stated that he pulled family information from a cyber website and that he had been following along and watching TV. When he said that he sent text messages, he was trying to see if the family would respond. Okay, simplest response. That's all he did. Data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, Kalela called a family member of the Nancy Guthrie, which lasted 9 seconds. So this could be a total nothing burger. It is what it is. The guy was he was communicating directly with the family. Okay. All right. So we've got, did I write those other ones down? I did not write those other ones down, but that's okay. I am going to end with this, and it's short. So we know they have the Range Rover in evidence, right? It was all sealed with police tape, and they are forensically testing the inside of the Range Rover. So I have a forensic scientist who talks about that. I did. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is.
I think we're going to hear more about this car in the coming days, and let me explain why.
Sorry.
I'm a forensic scientist and a former CSI, and although we haven't heard anything about this car since Friday, that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Investigators sealed it with red evidence tape before they towed it, which is a telltale sign that they intended to process it for forensic evidence. And today there is reporting that a source inside the investigation says that they are waiting on the DNA evidence from that Range Rover, which is currently being tested. So what is that DNA evidence, and when will we have those results? Putting myself in the crime scene investigator mindset, the number one question that I would want to answer about this car is, was Nancy Guthrie ever inside of this car? And there's 2 main ways with DNA that I would attempt to answer that. Number 1 is with touch DNA, and number 2 is with blood. Touch DNA is the type of DNA that you leave anytime you touch something. So I would swab everything that would be likely touched. That would be door handles inside and out, all the buttons, the seatbelt clasp, all that stuff. Those are not the best samples. We take them. They're not great. The good news in this case, and from an evidentiary standpoint, it actually is good news, is that Nancy Guthrie was bleeding when she was abducted. We know that because there are blood drops on the front porch that have her DNA on them, and we can see that they weren't there when the offender arrived on the Ring doorbell footage. I don't know for sure what the inside of this car looks like because I haven't seen it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and assume gray Range Rover probably has a black interior. So that would mean black leather seats and black carpet. And that's also really good news because blood on black surfaces is hard to see, which means if you have blood in your car from a crime that you committed and the inside of your car is black and you can't see it, you might not know that it's there, but I will fucking find it. Crime scene investigators have all sorts of little tricks up our sleeve, including specialized light sources and photography, presumptive testing, and chemicals like luminol that we can use to locate small amounts of blood in a car, even if it's been cleaned up. I imagine that type of testing was used to search for blood on the inside of this car. At least that's what I would have done if I thought that Nancy Guthrie could have ever been inside of this car. When will we know the results of that DNA testing? Well, investigators probably don't even know the results yet. This car was towed late Friday night, so it probably wasn't even worked until Saturday, February the 14th. And I would estimate that if I was working this car, it would probably take me somewhere between 4 and 8 hours to do the internal processing, which means the samples would not be ready to be packaged until Saturday night. And we know that all of the DNA samples in this case are being worked at DLI, which is a private laboratory in Florida, not a local laboratory in Tucson. So Saturday night, everything needs to be packaged up and then sent overnight via FedEx or similar to the laboratory in Florida. So let's just assume that they arrived today and maybe around lunchtime, they were able to start the testing. When are we going to know the results? Well, based on the timeline that the FBI released in their statement about the glove, it looks like DLI has been cranking these samples through at a pretty high rate of speed, and it seems like they're able to get through the testing in about 24 to 36 hours. It's a private laboratory, and I'd be willing to bet that they are working around the clock on this case, which means that the results of testing will probably be done around Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. And then the analysts are going to have to compare the profiles that they generate, if any, from inside of this car to all of the other profiles that they've generated. And at this point, there's probably dozens of DNA results. Those are not only elimination standards from people like Nancy and her children and other people who are known to police, and also buccal swabs from anybody that has been contacted as a person of interest, but also all the other evidence samples. So they would want to look at the profiles that were developed inside of this Range Rover and decide, are they the same as the unknown male profile on the glove on the side of the road? Are they the same as any of the unknown profiles in Nancy Guthrie's house? And of course, are any of the profiles in the car from Nancy Guthrie herself? And again, that takes time. All that to say, I would think the investigators would probably have the results of DNA testing from the Range Rover probably by Wednesday afternoon or Thursday, if DLI is working these samples as their next highest priority, and if they're able to keep up that same rate of testing that they were with the glove. I think we're going to hear more about this car in the coming days, and let me explain why. I'm a forensic scientist and a former CSI, and although we haven't heard anything about this car since Friday, that doesn't
Okay, she talks fast. I know a lot of the TikTokers do talk fast, but she was just speculating on the color, the possible color of the inside. I don't know why I want to say it was tan. I'm not sure, but if it is black, that probably helps the investigators, because if you're trying to clean a car and it's black, it's hard to see what's on there, right? So today is Wednesday. She said they could possibly have some of that forensic analysis done by today. So we're just waiting day after day for some of these DNA results, right? It looks like it's coming down to DNA to identify somebody. I was really hoping that like video footage, if they would put some of that out there, if they have images of people that people could call in to identify people, other than I don't know, cars, images of a car anywhere, cell phone data, where they know phones were, things like that. But we're hanging on, waiting for the DNA. So, the fake ransom guy also played in a metal band. Oh boy, here goes those connections. Trust me, on here, I usually don't do like, big conspiracy theory type things. I do discuss things that don't make sense, or discuss things that we're trying to make sense of. So trying to do it in a responsible, logical way, not go off the rails with crazy thinking. But yeah. So we got the updates today from Brian Enton. Listened to what the sheriff had to say today about the doorbell camera, the information the sheriff gave about the investigation. We looked at the live footage of the guys that went into the house with the briefcase. I don't know what they were doing in there. I think it makes sense if they were going for a safe. The family at this point is probably starting to collect things, right? Things we want of our mother. So that would make sense. That's my idea. I don't know. What do you guys think? And we looked at the theories that are out online right now that people are talking about. One coming from the Range Rover, one about the fake caller, and then there's also the son-in-law, Tommaso. Even though they say the family's cleared, that theory has been out there. And there's also the guy named Jason that to me, the only thing suspicious about him is that he just seems to be inserting himself. So he could just be someone who wants to, talk about the case, but he does drive 15 minutes to get interviewed. So what did I say I was going to come back with tomorrow? Oh, more into the ransom side of things. And hopefully, if any of the DNA evidence comes back today, I'm going to come back on for that. So whenever that breaks, I'll be on here. And if not, until then, I am going to see you back here tomorrow. Hello, Adam. Hello, Namarskan. I don't know if I said that right, but thank you all for joining me today. And thank you to our green team members, the unique peeps. And I'm going to put myself over here. We got our little logo down there in the corner, unique peeps. If you'd like to consider joining, there's a join button on the home page. And please hit the like button on your way out. I would greatly appreciate that. If you're new here today, please subscribe. We dropped lots of creators' channels in the chat, so please go check them out. And have a great rest of your day. And we are going to clock out for now, and I'll see you guys back here at 11:30 tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe. It's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time. Same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. That could be unique. Yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe. It's free. Come back again. We'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and wild to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.